Good evening. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And as always, if this is your very, very first time, first of all, thank you for being here. And secondly, please just right now, just go and subscribe. Click on the subscription button. And also click on the notification bell so that in case I do post any new videos going forward, you'll always get a notification. So yes, guys. So for my usual um, weekly analysis, what we do is we just look at different pairs. I give you an idea of how I'm looking at the market, or rather what I'm anticipating for the coming week. And that's it. And then you guys, you give me back your feedback and tell me if I'm adding value to your own trading and your own analysis. So that's basically it. So thank you once again. So let's go. So now we are on trading view. We are looking at GBP USD. I'll start off with GU. I'll start off with GU because GU has been in a very interesting space. So if your guys have been following me for a while, you know that I like to look at my higher time frames when I'm looking at any pair. So I like to, start on the weekly. This is just me. Some guys never look at the weekly. I look at the weekly. Some even look at the monthly, but I like to look at the weekly because I'm an intraday trader or a day trader. And yeah, so what I'm seeing, um, GU has actually been dropping. Okay, it's actually been on a bearish kind of. I don't really want to call it a bearish run. I kind of, if I look at it from a longer time frame perspective, we can see that we had rallied up and then we got to a pretty strong level up here, and then we are retracing. So we are looking bullish. Okay. Um, we're still kind of bearish, okay, on a longer term, but I feel like G was trying to crack this zone up here and failed, and now is beginning to push down. So this is probably, if I was to draw, this is probably, a rally up. Don't mind my machine, which is kind of hanging, and then a rally down, and possibly a continuation up, possibly, right? That's like one scenario. So right now, the last couple of weeks, GU has been retracing lower, okay, retracing lower, and then it got to an interesting zone here, okay, at the 1.34748, and it's just been rejecting this zone. So for me, what I'm seeing is just opportunity for GU to bounce off and continue on to the upside. So I'm just gonna kind of like, I can see we have some level here. And I'm just anticipating that GU would probably bounce away from this level here. Okay. So when I look at it on the daily time frame, we can see things a bit more clearer. Okay, so I'm just seeing areas of liquidity, yeah, and it's possible that we may try to take these out. But I'm not so sure right now that we are yet to break, we're gonna really break structure. I'll be looking for a bit more confirmation to confirm the downtrend. But as we looked at it last week, we saw just how much GBP pairs suffered NFP week. They kind of pretty much dropped quite some. If you look at this last week's candle, was the Fridays was there was a bit of rejection back to the upside, but then the previous day, GU just dropped like what? How many pips? About 224 pips, yeah, on this daily candle. So we've been very, consistent with this move down, scaling lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. But I'm not really convinced that we are ready to break out. I feel like this is just a way to also, long term confuse people and make it look like, GU is gonna drop. But I always say I like to look at how the market opens on Monday. Um, but I'm really looking forward to a retest and a continuation. Although we failed to break this high here, which is basically a high that hasn't been broken in a couple of years. So that may explain why we are now pushing lower as well. But so I'm 50-50, but right now with just the way the candle closed on Friday, I'll be looking at possible, push up and maybe again more continuation to the downside. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, I would really like to see GU continue to push up. That's my long-term bias. That's my long-term bias. Because what we see is we've broken structure a couple of times to the downside, broke structure here, pushed up again, and then continued our way down, and then we continued scaling lower highs, and then here we completely broke this previous structure, but then we rejected, and then we came back to retest the same level of structure. So this just creates a lot of liquidity downside here, but I will, just bearing in mind how this candle closed, I won't be surprised if we maybe begin to see some price action to the upside. But either way, if we see the action moving down, I'll probably want to get in once I see a retest of this level. Okay, 1.34211. I'll probably want to see my entry once I see a bit of a retest to the downside. Okay, and this is basically just looking at the weekly and the daily. Okay, so for now, I'm not going to dial it down to the lower time frame because the market anyway isn't open. So I just want to give you guys an overview of what I'm thinking. So technically, yes, we rallied up. We found a kind of a ceiling up here. We retested that ceiling again a second time, and then we dropped, then we began to drop down. And we have failed to break structure here. So there might be an attempt to push this lower, okay? But I feel like, we may see some tapering out because, there's still opportunities for that to happen. So that's GU. Let me look at GBP, JPY, another favorite pair of mine that I like to trade when I'm not trading, let's say, gold or the indices. So what we see, like I said, last week, you know, GBP pairs kind of tanked. So what we are seeing is here is, this is on the daily, on the weekly, just because I like to look at the weekly. So what we see on the weekly, if I just mark out my chart, I'm seeing that, this is again, just like GU, we had a very, very strong level of structure, okay? We see that there was an attempt to break this level of structure, but what we're really doing was just taking out liquidity upside, okay? And we may continue, pushing lower, but let's see. GG has really been consolidating in this zone, okay? It's been in this zone for quite some. It broke out of this zone. When I say zone, I just mean this zone here, okay? It broke out in 2013, no, some years ago, and then came back, and it's just been in this zone for the longest time. So I feel like, of course, in terms of fundamentally, it's been, because of GBP pairs have been, struggling. But I mean, we had a nice rally up before we began to see this retracement. So for me, this retracement was expected after such a nice rally to the upside, okay? And there's a possibility that we may drop to come, because when we pushed up, this was on beginning of October this year, okay, we rallied to the upside, okay, and then we kind of left some liquidity down here, okay? So we may try to take out this liquidity if at all the rally to the upside is going to be valid, because we can't just climb and leave all this liquidity down here. We can, but I'm not anticipating that to happen. But I'm definitely bullish on GJ. I'm bullish on GJ. I'm bullish on GU. The idea will just to be able to figure out, like when the market opens and you look at your charts, you always just want to figure out your entries. Okay. So my bias is we are bullish. Okay, despite the retracement, this is bullish long term. This is bullish long term. But I feel like, when I look at the weekly, we're approaching another key level here at this is the 152.291 level. And I'm anticipating that we're going to bounce off this level and continue to the upside or reject the push down. Now, if that doesn't happen this week, in terms of the rejection and you just drop, I mean, I'm for the bounce up. I just don't know how strong it will be because we have a very strong bearish engulfing candle here. And because we took out this previous liquidity with these highs here, we may just try to now take out this liquidity before we continue upwards. So my take is we push down and then push up. Okay, so but there may be some resistance at this level in terms of the down move. We may see some rejection before the continuation down and then the move up. Okay, so that's GJ. Daily. Okay, so and why this level? Because we can see that from September, the whole month of September to October beginning, most of the month, mid-month, actually the whole of September, okay, um, GJ has been below this zone, okay, and then it finally broke out and now it's retesting the same zone. So I feel like it's retesting the same zone, and then it will continue on its way up. Guys, give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry for that commercial break, guys. Yes, so I'm back. Yeah, so what I was saying is GJ, has been at this zone for quite some time, and it finally broke out of this zone. If I on the on the 8th of October, right? And then now it's retesting that same zone. Okay, if I was to, this is the action that has been happening. So technically, we are retesting that zone. Okay, so I probably wanted to push lower before we begin to see the push up. Okay, so we may open, we likely, like G will open the market possibly bearish, but then, we'll definitely find some resistance, pushing lower. Now, that being said, we do have a lot of liquidity downside. Okay, so there's potential for GJ to actually just drop, take out this liquidity, and then continue on up. And so we have like what's this? About 300, 400 pips. That's quite something, guys. Yeah. So yeah. So we're okay. We're bearish. We're bearish on the daily for GJ. But once we get to this zone of around 152.095, we may see, which is about 100 pips. So we may see a move like this one. We may see price pushing down and then pushing up and then pushing down and then pushing up, eventually. So this is a long-term kind of move. And we may even see this, maybe pushing this way, coming down and then pushing up, okay? So this is what it's looking at, but we have a major rejection zone here, okay, coming up, upcoming. So I'm anticipating that we'll probably bounce off this zone and then continue to the upside. So that's GJ. So let me look at a euro pair, and I'll look at euro AUD, another pair that I like to trade when I'm not trading these other major pairs like gold and everything. So again, euro last week, we're on the weekly here. So euro last week rejected a key zone here, okay? We can see this level has not been broken since, okay, let's say since 2018, okay? January. So price has just been coming and bouncing off of this zone, okay? Made a couple of attempts to break structure, not really successful at doing that, yeah? So we are still, I can't really say we are bearish at this particular point in time. We've actually been in a range, say for this day when, this week when, Euro just passed through up here and then dropped back down. Okay, this was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 weeks of, just rallying to the upside and rallying back to this zone. So we've been consolidating, okay? We tried to break structure in March, and we are back here again. Now, the way it looks is we are still bearish, okay? But we are struggling to break out to the downside. So, I'm just like, okay, will that happen this week? Likelihood for it to happen this week. If I look at the daily, I'm seeing we rejected that zone nicely. Okay. We can see this, NFP of course helped with that. But we are seeing some interesting price action here. The only time I'll really be confident about a proper break to the upside, we can see first of all, we have broken structure here. We've taken out a previous high here. Okay. And there's a bit of rejection. Yes, it closed bullish on Friday. The market closed bullish on Friday, but there was a bit of a rejection topside, right? There was a bit of a rejection topside, okay? And this is just an example that price was just running up to take out previous liquidity or previous highs, and we may see, because those are consecutive move down to the downside. What I'm seeing is it's very possible that we may be attempting to push back up, but even if we do, we may face some rejection at the 1.57715 zone. So for me, I think right now we are still ranging. Okay, we are still in that range, in this range that I had shown you guys earlier. If we do break out, I'd love to see a retest of the zone before continuation down. So I'm still like, okay, we're still moving up, down, no clear direction. So guys, if you're thinking about doing your entries, yeah, just make sure that you always dial it down to the lower time frame, and see how you can scalp the market or day trade it or from the lower time frame. But for now, we've rejected a key zone, and we are now beginning to push up. So there's a possibility that we'll actually just rally up a couple of, let me see, maybe about 150, 160 pips before we see, a continuation back down. Okay, right now, I'm just seeing that we may just open bullish and then continue to the downside. Yeah, but yes, we are looking pretty bearish. We've been bearish, for a while, despite this strong push up, attempt to break structure again to the upside. We've actually, long term, guys, Euro AUD has been pushing down, but is also in a range. Okay, it's stuck in a range. Now, Euro CAD, second to gold, I think Euro CAD is one of the pairs I like to trade a lot. I tend to trade it a lot. Now, what we are seeing is that EuroCAD attempted, I had marked this out, and this was actually October's low. Okay. And we actually, we haven't taken out this previous slowdown here. We've been in this range, okay, for quite some time. And my take was that we would push lower bounds of this level of structure here and then push up. So again, just really, Euro pairs have been playing it a bit safe, okay, in terms of breaking previous levels of structure. Every time they keep on attempting to break previous levels of highs and lows, but they kind of like fail to do so. And what we are seeing with Eurocard happening here is just that, like, we did a nice rally, we broke structure here, and then just dropped, okay? But then now we're beginning to form kind of like a consolidation of sorts, yeah? But we are still looking bearish on Euro AUD, although I have this feeling that, just based off the way the daily candle closed, we may, there's liquidity resting up here. So we are definitely looking like we want to push up, okay, before we actually attempt this zone again. Okay, so my take is we will definitely maybe attempt to push up, yeah. Attempt to push up. Yeah, so again, we've just been in a range, guys, just been in a range, up, down, up, down, up, down. So, not very exciting in terms of, if you're a breakout trader and everything, but obviously if you go down to the lower time frame, you're not on a daily chart, let's say the 4 hour, the 5 minutes, and so on, you probably get nice opportunities. But we've been bearish, okay? We rally down, rally base, and probably will continue to drop lower. But before that happens, we've been stuck here for a couple of days. In fact, literally almost the whole of October, if I'm not wrong, almost the whole of October. Actually, the last 3 weeks, we've been in this range here, okay, which isn't much, okay, not really isn't much. I don't mean that. I mean, that's about what, 140 pips up, down, up, down, up, down movement. This may continue on, okay, for a while, okay, unless maybe things change fundamentally and something happens and, we break out of structure. So right now we're just in this range, okay, but I'm anticipating at some point we may push up and then now drop, okay. So that would be my move. Now let's look at gold. And guys, if you're getting value, please feel free to just, let me know. So yes, so guys, I'm sure you watched my recording on gold, my setup for Friday on NFP, and this is how gold closed. So if I look at the weekly, gold is pretty bullish, okay, pretty much. Yeah, we definitely are bullish on gold, and I say this because, again, if I look at it on the longer time frame, we rally to the top, and then we are on a retest, and now it looks like we want to continue on higher, okay. So we have this previous high here that we may attempt to get to. Whether it happens this week, all I know is that's about 2,500 pips away. All I know is that I'm just bullish on gold, okay. I'm bullish on gold right now. Yes, we have left some liquidity downside, okay, but these but we have near liquidity up here. So I feel like even if we are still going to continue to go lower, we'll probably open the market bullish before we taper out. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at, guys. That's what I'm looking at for gold. And then let me look at US 30. Pretty bullish, broke all-time highs. US 30 is just doing its own thing. And I always find it so interesting trying to analyze US 30 and all these indices, because they set their own records, and technically there's no history to to help you make a decision about your calls. So it's one of those really interesting things. But for sure, we've been bullish on DJ for several weeks, okay. We broke this structure, but I'm honestly beginning to anticipate that at some point we will begin to look at selling opportunities. So what I like about this is the week, as much as we closed bullish, there was a bit of a rejection on the weekly towards the end of the week, I assume. Um, so we can see this here, so I'm going to just anticipate that we will actually begin to push lower and retest this zone where it broke out of, so I'm thinking that, US 30 may drop on market open or in the course of this week. Yeah, that's really my long-term um, um, anticipation, because what I was expecting last week was that it would get to 3,600, and it did, and took out the 3,600 level I was anticipating. We're now at 6,470, but with this rejection up here, okay, after this long rally to the top, I'm actually just thinking that for us to make a nice, continuation pattern, I feel like, there's a lot of pending liquidity in the lower zones here, okay? And we may just want to retest those levels before we continue on our way up, okay? Yes, so guys, I'm keeping this short and sweet. Hopefully you've gotten some value. If you have, please comment and smash that like button. And if you know anyone else who could get value from this, please share this with them as well. So thank you guys, and see you soon.